talk. This that block talk. This that block talk. Face down, now line, nigga, chop talk. This that block talk. Face down, now line, nigga, chop talk. This that block talk. Face down, now line, nigga, chop talk. This that block talk. Face down, now line, nigga, chop talk. Ain't made out of cop car. This that block talk. Face down, now line, nigga, chop talk. Ain't made out of cop. This that block talk. Face down, now line, nigga, chop talk. Ain't made out of cop car. This that block talk. Face down, now line, nigga, chop talk. Ain't made out of cop car. This that block talk. Face down, now line, nigga, chop talk. Ain't made out of cop car. This that block talk. Face down, now line, nigga, chop talk. Ain't made out of cop car.
Really fuck do they want as a man to get slapped, to get spit? I think spit on a different level from being
No, I
slapped.
know, but I'm saying
To me, in my mind, the spit is just there.
Hey everybody, welcome to Block Talk Season 2. Here we are, man, and I have a great guest. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself, Peter?
Yeah, I'm Peter. I'm from just outside Belfast in Northern Ireland. Musician, I guess, would be my main title. And of course, I mean, I had you on my own podcast as well. I think that's where we kind of linked up.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And a great podcast it was, man. If you guys haven't checked it out, make sure to go check out Stumble Across Podcast. The title episode I'm on is My Time in Prison, right? Is that the name of it?
It was good fun.
Yeah, there we go. See, look, I know stuff. I know stuff. Yeah, man. You get to hear all about Boogie getting beat the fuck up in prison. Yeah. So, why don't you tell us a little bit about your background, man, and how you got started in podcast?
Yeah, sure. I think it all started with me getting into music first of all, and then the whole, because I mean I've been in music since about 7 years of age, so I started playing piano and started getting into that kind of stuff, and then kind of lockdowns happened, so that's when I had the idea of, I mean, everyone had the idea of getting into podcasting, and I guess it was so hard because like everyone had a podcast and everyone was trying to do their own thing, and I've just stuck with it, yeah, and just continued to do it. So yeah, it's hard though. It's hard to know, like what line to go down, because like everyone has a podcast.
Yeah, everybody has a podcast. Everybody has a story to tell. It's kind of crazy. Funny enough story, actually.
Yeah.
I was in piano in 7th grade.
Right. See, a lot of people do start it and then they give up, because I mean, I must have given up about 2 or 3 times, and then I thankfully went back to it, because I guess when you're at that age, you don't think about it, and then you don't think about like it can be a job, because it's not cool to play piano when you're in school. Like I always remember it was like the guitar player or the drummer. It was never cool to play piano, and then you never think about like the job that it can bring you into. Like I went on to then, once I left school, I was about 17, 18. Then I went straight back to school to then teach piano in the same school that I was there. So I kind of never left school. It was weird. So then it brought me on to like wedding bands and playing for wedding ceremonies, and I'm still doing that to today. Like I'm 28 now. Still doing wedding nights, party nights.
There you go, man. You're have you ever seen? I don't know if you've ever seen it. Have you ever seen The Wedding Singer with Adam Sandler?
Do you know, I started, I haven't seen the full thing, but I watched a good bit of it, and I have to say it is very much real life.
That's great to hear, honestly, man. That's awesome to hear. Yeah, I started taking piano in 7th grade, but because you had to like pick an elective, you know what I mean? So I wanted to get out of gym class, because if you took like a instrument or whatever, you were able to get it out of gym. And I didn't want to go to gym because it was weird, just a bunch of dudes playing, grab ass in the locker room and stuff like that. Middle school's very gay.
Yeah.
But
I would love to have that choice. Like I mean, in our system, we just had to do
Oh wow, that's crazy. So they made you take piano? Like you have to take a musical instrument?
yeah at the so year 8 is what we call it. Our first
Hmm.
year, so you have to do music. Like you do music for those first couple of years, and then when you get to maybe about 13, 14 years of age, then you choose your subjects. Then you choose whether you want to carry on or not. But everyone does start with music. Playing recorders.
Oh
The thing that everyone played but never
yeah, I
used
think
again.
everybody
I've
starts with the
never,
recorder.
yeah, yeah, I've
I've
never
never
picked
met
up a
anybody
recorder
good at the
since.
recorder though. Yeah,
Nope,
I've never met
nope,
anybody good at a recorder. Nobody sticks with
yeah.
it.
You can never make it sound good.
Yeah,
And same like if you're playing like trumpet or violin, they never sound good at the start. Like I never get a good note out of them. Like
yeah, it never starts off very high quality. You know what I mean? Oh, sorry. This is Max, a regular guest. He loves coming on the show. But anyway, sorry, he's crazy. He just wants some loving. But yeah, man. So I took it in 7th grade, and I remember my piano teacher. Shout out to Miss Looney. I remember her telling my parents on Parent Day. They're like, "Oh, Boogie would be so naturally gifted at the piano because he has these long, elegant fingers." And I'm like, when you say it, it sounds weird. I was like, I don't
it
like
sounds
these
weird.
fingers anymore. Like
Yeah, yeah.
right, like an old, and she was like an old lady, man. She was like 60 years old or some shit like that. And she's just like
Mhm.
such long, elegant fingers. And then she's like doing my hand like that. I'm like, why are you doing this to me? Like, Parents' Day is already bad enough. I just got my ass chewed out in English class, and now I have to hear about
Yeah.
this creepy old lady talking about how much she loves my fingers.
My old piano teacher was my dad's piano teacher in the same school. Like she must have been there when the school was built. Like she was there from day one. And
Jesus.
when she found out like that I was kind of musical, she just got me in front of the class and she just said, "Right, sit down and play the piano then for all of your mates." It's just like it's the most terrifying thing ever. But I guess that was maybe where it started. Like, I think you have to be thrown into those situations, but it is just those old teachers and their old ways. It's just,
Yeah,
it's
there's
good.
really
It's
that
good.
weird, cool old lady. Like she went skydiving. I remember when like we were in piano class, and then they like
Mhm.
the school literally played a video of her, like the video she recorded with like a God, what was it, man? It was. I think it was before they had like those GoPros, so it was kind of like
Yeah.
something like a GoPro but bootleg basically, and it was her adventure
Mm-hmm.
skydiving and shit like that. And I was like, why is this a fucking thing? I was like, why are
Yeah.
we watching?
Yeah.
Like we
Yeah.
were forced to watch that shit with morning
Yeah.
announcements. I was like, this is terrible. I hate
It's like
this.
it's just the teachers who try to be cool.
Yeah, it was not good. It was not good. I mean, I thought it was funny mostly because like at the end of the video, so like she lands, and I guess it took a lot out of her, so she's just like
Mhm.
laying on top of her instructor, and I was like, I feel like there's something more sexual happening than
Yeah.
what's being
Yeah.
led on here.
I
But you
know,
know, you're
bro.
7th grade, you're a pervert. Everything's sexual.
Yeah. It's just there's
Or at least
something
I
so
don't know. Maybe
awkward.
that was just me.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe that's just me in middle school, man. I don't know. Maybe I'm a pervert. I'm still trying to figure that out.
I think
Because
we
you know,
all
you
were at
and your
that
friends,
age.
all you do is like draw boobies all day and shit.
Yeah, 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 yeah. And the calculator, you try to make the calculator spell boobies, you turn it upside down.
Hell yeah, man. You just you try to spell out hoe.
Yeah,
30 or
yeah,
40 shit.
yeah.
Just doing dumb shit.
Yeah, yeah.
You're like, God, all the time I wasted doing dumb shit.
Hmm. Yeah. That is so true. But then again, like I think that's the days that I miss. Like when people say like oh you should just love being in school because you'll always want to go back there. And I always thought load of shit. Like you'll not want to go back
Yeah.
there, but you do. I could definitely go back to school today.
Oh my God, dude, take my bills away, please. Like
Yeah, I know.
if they told me, hey, you got to put all your life savings, like every penny that you have, if you put it into this machine, you could go
Mhm.
back to like 7th grade. I'd
Yeah.
take my money, take
Yeah,
my fucking
yeah,
money.
100%. Yeah, yeah, and just have the dinner ready when I'm home. All those things that
Yeah, that's
you
it.
never think about. Like, yeah,
Yeah, man, the shit you just take for granted, like the really stress
mm,
free, like the most stressful thing was like finishing your homework. Like I miss
yeah,
those days.
yeah. Where you finish your homework and then that's you done for the day. There's no worries. You don't have to worry about the next day. Like, oh,
Yeah, man, I see my
wish I can go back.
brother like, well, now he's 18, but like when I would see him and stuff like that, and he would just go to school. So he would go to school, come home, fuck off the rest of the day, just eat like garbage, eat
Mhm.
pizza, stay up till
Yeah.
fucking 2 in the goddamn morning and then have the energy to go
Yeah.
do school again. I'm like, God, I'm so
Yeah.
goddamn jealous.
Yeah.
I'm so jealous.
And like
I hate that shit.
all like the all nighters and all that you could stay up all night and be fine the next day. See if I did that now, like I'd be dead. I'd be on the ground. Like I couldn't function. I need. See if I don't get those 6 hours of sleep. Like I cannot function.
Man, I'm an old man. If I don't get 7 hours of sleep, don't fucking talk to me, dude. And then like I'm so
Uh huh.
old, I have like 5 cups of coffee in the morning. Like I drink like black coffee, no cream, no sugar, and I drink that
Hmm.
shit
Hmm.
first thing in the morning because if I don't have coffee, I'm fucking dead. And I've had like a
Yeah.
full 7 hours of sleep.
Yeah.
Just it's crazy how useless you get when you become old. I hate to say like useless,
Yeah.
but
Yeah. Yeah.
you become pretty goddamn useless when you're old. You're like
You do.
shit. Everything
Yeah.
hurts. Everything
Yeah.
sucks.
Yeah. Everything. It's
Which
it's
is funny.
like when you have to when you bend over to get something and you realize that it's hard to get back up again. Like this is the moments that people don't tell you about.
Yeah, your knees pop and shit. You're like, this is like
Yeah.
for old
Yeah.
people. What is this?
Hmm.
Especially because like
Yeah.
you're 28, I'm 29, so we're like around the same age, and you do not expect
Hmm.
this doesn't come in the pamphlet. And then
No.
everybody just keeps telling you now. They're like, this is gonna get so much worse when you're 30. I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't want to hear that shit. Like my knees already
I
like
know.
snap, crackle, and pop when I
Yeah.
bend down too quickly. Like I don't need this shit in my life.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
listen, the fattest, oldest shit I've ever done. Literally, like last week, man, I was getting off of my truck and I pulled my
Uh-huh.
hammy. Like, or like, oh no, I dropped
Uh,
something. I dropped something out of my truck. I bent down to go pick it up, and I pulled a
yeah.
muscle in
Yeah.
my back. I was like, I'm so old.
Oh,
Like
that's
I'm dying,
so bad. Like,
and then it ruins your
and
day.
yeah, yeah. Sorry, I'm just gonna have to restart my. For some reason, my webcam keeps lagging, and I don't know why it does that.
Oh no, you're all right, man. Don't worry about it. I've definitely been there.
Um.
Like people will remember in the beginning episodes of this, I used to have terrible internet,
Uh-huh.
so my shit would lag like super hard. Like I'd be just like Mr. Roboto type shit. Like it was terrible, man. Now I upgraded to a better internet server,
Yeah.
so thank God, it's so much better.
I think it's actually my OBS. I think I'm just trying to get this back on. Sorry. Because
Oh no, you're all right.
my webcam
Little behind the
linked into
scenes
my
action.
OBS. I'm like, this. Why does this keep doing this? Okay, yeah, I think that's back now. But yeah, no, it's like when I was like in school and I was like 18, I always thought 30 was such an old age, and now the fact I'm 29 this weekend, and I am shitting it. I'm like, is 30 the end of my life?
You're like, get my pine box ready.
Yeah,
Fuck it.
yeah. Might as well just get measured up now. Like,
Let me get my suit ready, man. They're gonna use your wedding piano player suit to get married in.
I know.
Time to throw the keyboard in there. Huh?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, happy early birthday, man.
I know. I don't think you.
I don't know if you're looking forward to it or not.
It's hard to know. I think I'm okay for the 29. I'm not sure we're looking forward to the 30 as much, but what can you do? Like, it's gonna happen.
Yeah, it's pretty funny actually. So my stepmom, she's like planning a 30th birthday for me or whatever,
Uh-huh.
and so she's like, I want to have like, but it's gonna be like a funeral, so they're gonna be like tombstones to my 20s.
Yeah,
It's gonna be
yeah.
like welcome to my 30s or whatever the fuck. So it's gonna be like a bunch of like headstones and shit that say R.I.P. my 20s and stuff like that, which I thought was hilarious. I was like, fuck it.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I think also like as a man, once you reach a certain age, like I think birthdays are more important for women, like for them. You know what I mean? Because like
Mhm.
for dudes, I couldn't give a fuck about my birthday.
Yeah,
If I'm being
I know.
honest about it,
I know.
like people make a bigger deal about it than I do.
Yeah, it's so true. I mean, definitely. I have a friend who is coming. Well, he's 40 there last week, and he was making such a big deal of him being 40. Like, and I just thought, like why? Like,
You're like, what's the big deal?
yeah, like what is the big deal? Like
So,
at the
do you
at the
guys
end,
have any?
I said it's like 40. It's just you're the same as you were 30. You're just it's. I think when you get to a certain age and you leave school and you get your job and so on, like how much harder can it get? Apart from your body falling apart, but
I think for guys, the last important birthday that we have, I guess, quote unquote important, is like turning 21. Like that's it. Like as a dude, you get like you turn 16, you get your license.
yeah,
You turn 18, you're a man or whatever the fuck.
yeah.
And then you turn 21 and
Mhm,
now you
mhm.
can drink and smoke and do all that shit.
Yeah.
So
That's
I
so
mean,
true.
past that, I mean, what the fuck do you really have to look forward to? You know what I mean?
I know. That's so true. Like there's no milestones to look forward to now.
No, it's over. It's like I've done everything now. Like
Yeah,
there we go. I can see why people in the past didn't live past 28 because it's like, what's the point? You know,
yeah, yeah.
why
I know, I
keep
know.
going?
That's so true. Yeah.
So I know that you're in Belfast. For people that don't know where that is, that's Ireland,
Mhm.
like that general area. If you can think of that in a map, and then we're over here, like in the U.S. on the Block Talk side.
Uh-huh.
Do you guys have any like different celebrations for like your birthday and stuff like that? Like maybe like cultural differences that you guys do?
Not really as such. Sorry, I'm just trying to get. I can't. It's not letting me change my. I'm just seeing if I can change my thing. It's not letting me change my camera when I'm on here. Can't do that, can you? When you're recording?
Oh Lord, I don't think so. I think it basically holds you hostage, honestly.
Oh, that's so annoying. I'm changing that. I mean, you get for birthdays like we don't really actually do anything. I know like other parts of the world, like they've got certain things they do. We literally once you hit like 30, I think it's almost forgotten about. Do you know in that kind of way? Like
Yeah.
we've got 30, and then you get to 60, and then that's about it. But 65, like we get, your bus pass, and you can retire and all of that. Like that's that's the main age that we all celebrate, where you can like travel for
Yeah,
free.
you just oh damn, that's awesome, man. You just get like 35 years of a blank spot, and then it's
Yeah,
like, there you go.
yeah.
Go forward, my son.
Yeah. That is exactly it. Because when here, I think well, right across the UK, like when you're 65, you can have the public transport for free, so you just travel around for free.
Oh wow, see, I didn't know that.
Yeah, but I mean,
That is pretty
I'm a
cool. Do you
lot.
guys have like a birthday song?
We don't
Like, you know,
actually.
over here in America, we're ditzy,
No.
ditzy bitches, and we sing like "Happy Birthday." Do y'all have something like that?
Yeah, we do
Or
have
or
that.
the idea?
Yeah, but it's not kind of. It's I guess when the cake comes out, we just sing happy birthday and do that kind of thing, and then but we're quite reserved. I think. I always think people in
The
America.
Irish are.
Yeah, like people in America, like they fully on celebrate things. That's one thing I love about America. Like they do go full on, whereas here we're very reserved. We're like, can we just get over because we're embarrassed? You know.
Yeah, see. I think part of it is embarrassment, and then part of it is just just like through history, just the Irish like hardness, like the toughness. I think it's just kind of like a you're not important, like fuck you, basically.
I know. It's so true, and then like it's just when the spotlight's on you as well when you're sitting there, and like it is embarrassing. Like I don't think anyone loves their birthday where they're sitting around the table and everyone's just staring at them, and you've got the camera out and so on, and it's just get it over with. Just give me a few drinks and go. Like
Yeah, we celebrated my brother's birthday like a couple weeks ago, man, and we went to so over here we call it like Tex-Mex, just like Texan Mexican food or whatever.
yeah.
So they put like a sombrero on him and they sang like happy birthday and all this shit.
Mhm.
And he was just like, this fucking sucks. Like he's just sitting there
Yeah, yeah.
like just waiting for it to be over. He's just sitting there like, God damn it, stop singing to me.
I know. It's
You
when
know, they
it's
do
in
that thing where they're
public
like
as well.
happy birthday.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, man, you're in
That's
the middle of a
awful.
restaurant, everyone yelling and
Oh
shit.
yeah.
Yeah.
There's
I
this.
man, I remember worst memory of a birthday. I was a kid. I think I was maybe like shit. I don't even want to say the age. I'm a guess 9, maybe somewhere around there. And we went to Joe's Crab Shack. It's this terrible seafood chain that we have over here that is dying, if not already dead.
Right.
And they give you styrofoam like takeout boxes.
Uh-huh.
They put one in your mouth and then they put one under each arm, and you have to walk around and quack like a duck for your birthday.
Oh
And I remember
no,
that was the worst shit.
no,
I was
no.
like, I just wanted some crab legs, you pieces of shit.
Yeah,
Like this
yeah.
is terrible.
Like I would be out of there. Like I wouldn't be staying there.
You just take off, huh?
Yeah, just leave them to it.
Hell damn it. So on the Stumble Across podcast, I know you talk to like a lot of like different people that you just stumbled across on the internet and stuff like that, whether through Reddit or
Mm.
however you end up meeting them. So besides Boogie, of course, who's the most interesting person that you've met in your Stumble Across adventures? That you
Um,
just like comes to mind that you're like that was a crazy guest.
there was one guy, and I think I was only on my. I mean, I've only got up to 10 episodes now, and it was like episode 3. I think episode 3 or 4. A guy who had
Mhm.
this Land Rover, and he lives in his Land Rover, so he does everything in the Land Rover. He sleeps in it. He just drives around. I think when I was speaking to him, he was in England, and then he was going to drive in France, Spain, and then on to Portugal, just living in this Land Rover. And the weird thing about it
Yeah.
was that he had two parrots with him. He had a chicken at one point as well, all inside this Land Rover. And I'm like,
What?
you are insane. Like, you are crazy. Like, and do you know what? Like, it would be good if you're going out like a wee camping weekend, and you spend the weekend in your car, and that's a fun idea. But to live it, like he was spending, like he's in his 6th year, just sleeping in the car, like just
6 years in a Land Rover, man.
yeah.
Jesus Christ. How old was the guy?
He was into his 30s anyway. I would say he was mid 30s, but he was kind of like living,
God,
like
yeah,
the
bro.
hippie
I'm
lifestyle.
not even in my 30s yet. I could imagine living. Yeah, man, I couldn't imagine that shit. I love technology. I don't give a fuck.
I know,
I
I know.
I
Yeah,
love technology.
yeah.
I couldn't imagine that type of shit.
No, and because he was working full time as well, he works developing apps, and also he had to find, like, at the end of the day, he had to find a spot. I know he had to find a spot where he had good signal then to be able to do his work the next day. I was thinking that's far too much to cope with.
Right, dude? Like at that point, get a fucking apartment,
Yeah,
guy. Like on the weekends, be in your Land Rover.
yeah,
Get a fucking
yeah,
apartment, dude.
yeah, yeah.
I
And
mean, good. Hey, kudos for him. Having the freedom to do that shit. But it ain't gonna be me, Peter. I'll tell you that
no,
right
no,
now.
no, no. Like, I like home comforts. Like, imagine, I imagine on a nice sunny day, and it'd be lovely, your sunny evening. But then when like it's raining or if it's snowing and you're stuck in that car, oh my god, no.
Yeah, man. And then Land Rover. Did he have like that soft top Land Rover too, where it's like that
So he
cloth, or
he
did he
yeah,
have
he had a
at least
soft
the
top,
hard top?
and then
Because that
what?
shit would suck in the rain.
Yeah, I know. But what he done
Oh,
on the top of it, then he had the extension. So he had like caravans would, or like I don't guess like lorry drivers, truck drivers would. They have like a wee bed above it. So he extended the bed up when he was sleeping. So he was sleeping like on top of the Land Rover with this kind of tent on top of him, and it was bizarre to look at.
that's fucking mind blowing, man. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Yeah,
That's pretty crazy. I will say that. That's pretty
yeah.
crazy.
But I think that's the cool thing about podcasts. Like,
I mean,
I
it
would
sounds
never have
cool. It sounds fun.
I would never have spoke to that guy before. Like, I would never have found out about this guy unless about the podcast.
Yeah, but see, that's the cool thing about your podcast. I mean, you meet so many people from like so many different walks of life and stuff like that, man. Like that's insane.
It's
Like, I mean,
crazy.
I meet like definitely like some crazy people like doing this podcast, but like I actually made a very good friend from somebody that I have on the podcast all the time with Gaio, and season 2 now gonna have a lot more guests on and stuff like that. But
Mhm.
it's just insane to think about that type of shit. Like
Yeah,
I can't even imagine. Like my mind would be blown just talking to that dude. I
yeah,
probably wouldn't say maybe like 3 words,
yeah,
and it'd just be what the fuck over and over.
yeah,
Like this
yeah.
whole
I
story.
know. Yeah.
I just like, what the fuck, man?
And then there's a girl. There's a girl who is like it's out next week, I think. Where she you've heard of Guinness, right?
Yeah. Oh, love Guinness.
So all she does is go to different bars, rate the Guinness, post it on Instagram, and she's got like 30,000 followers.
God damn. See, that's what I'm saying, man. To be a girl.
Yeah.
Sometimes that shit's just too easy.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a fucking cheat code, man.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Fucking cheat code.
But like the thing is, like she would go. Now she said she's going to be traveling. Like I can't remember where she said she was going. Maybe like what was it, Bolivia or somewhere? She said like she's literally taking this across the world and rating different types of Guinness and seeing how they taste all around the world. It's bizarre.
How different can Guinness be? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, don't get me wrong. One of the main reasons why I'm traveling to Ireland is to go visit the Guinness factory. You know what I'm saying? But
Mm-hmm,
it's like to just go to different like pubs and bars and stuff like that. Like, how much different could it be in a keg? You know what I mean? Like, you go and get so much variance.
Yeah, I know.
Like, I want to just see her clips and be how many times did she say 7? You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
yeah. I know. Yeah.
How many times does she get the same rating?
and she was so like particular about it. Like she didn't want a wet glass, or she wanted a proper glass, and she wanted the Guinness to be quite warm and not cold, and she's like really picky about it.
Well, because that's how you guys drink it over there, right? Like y'all drink like like ales and stuff. Like y'all drink it warm, or at least that's what I hear. I don't know.
Yeah, it's not kind of like ice cold anyway. Yeah, it's kind of like almost room temperature, I guess.
That's crazy, man. Because I love like a good cold beer, but like
Yeah.
my dad visited Ireland a few years ago, and he was telling me he's like they drink it like warm over there because they say it like tastes better. Because they went to Germany too, same shit.
Yeah,
He's like they
yeah,
drink it warm, like
yeah,
it's a culture shock, I guess.
yeah. Because we have like a lot of our beers. There's like ice cold versions of them, and yeah, but we say that it does lose the taste. I think if it is too cold, like if it's freezing, it's nice when you're thirsty and you need like a cool beer, but like when it's ice cold, that's taking a step too far. Like, but it's such a craze now.
That's just like people like because like I don't put like like so like a big thing like in Mexican culture and also like American culture they
Uh,
put like a lime in their beer and shit like that. I can't do
yeah,
that because
yeah.
I'm like bro, if I wanted to taste lime, I'd go suck on a fucking lemon.
I know, I
Like I
know.
want to taste the beer.
Yeah, I know that's true. Like Corona would be the big thing, like with the lime in it. It's just yeah, just I want to taste the Corona.
Yeah, definitely, man, definitely. Like I said, I'm not a big fan of Corona, but people always that blows their minds when I tell them that because like I'm like half Mexican and I tell them I don't like Corona and they're like, "What's wrong with you?"
Yeah,
I'm like, "Fuck's wrong with you? It's a medium ass beer. Like it's
I
okay,
know,
man.
I
It's
know.
not the greatest thing in the world.
Do you know what I found?
Like I don't think they're my DNA."
It was about 2 weeks ago. I was out in the bar and they actually do Corona on tap, which I'd never seen before.
Oh yeah,
Like on tap, like it, like I've only ever seen bottles of it, but to be pouring the Corona.
yeah. Oh, now we got that over here, but I also like to think that's because you're like right across the border from Mexico, so I kind of think that that has a little bit to do with it.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, see, you see, for me, like it's harder to find like Guinness on tap. So like I'd be looking because like I said, I like Guinness, and so I have to like go out my way to try to find a bar that has Guinness and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
especially like a good like stout Guinness.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Because some places like they have like bullshit Guinness,
yeah.
and I like the stout one, like the really dark one. Because see, I heard you guys have one that like supposedly again, this is something my dad told me from the Guinness factory. He says that there's a Guinness that you guys have over there that's special. There's like a special make or some shit, and it's like it tastes like chocolate milk.
Yeah, because I know,
That's the
like
rumor.
I know, like across the world, like they would almost have different flavors of Guinness and like different types, but we just have the kind of generic stock Guinness, and it is kind of like it's like a creamy, like a almost like a coffee chocolatey taste. It's one of those tastes. Yeah, honestly, couldn't explain it to anyone. Like, and
Yeah.
actually, when people come over
See,
here,
I want to try that shit.
when people come over here for the first time, like sometimes they put like Ribena or like a blackcurrant drink into the Guinness because it's so strong.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's such a strong like coffee taste. It's so weird. But yeah, I don't think you can get that anywhere else. Like I know Guinness like send out different varieties and different like recipes of it, but I think like the original one is the one. Yeah, the one's here.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. You're selling me, Peter. You're selling me already.
Yeah. The only thing is, like, ironically, the worst pint of Guinness I've ever had is actually at the Guinness Storehouse in Dublin, like in their bar. That was the worst Guinness, and I guess maybe because like a lot of tourists are there and they're just flocking it out to tourists, and there's not much. But if you go into like a proper like Irish bar, like Irish pub, that's where you'll get the best Guinness.
Fuck yeah, man.
Yeah,
Hell yeah. So I see. Does your sweatshirt say Atlanta?
yeah, it does. Yeah, no connection,
All right,
no
man. Hell
connection whatsoever.
yeah. No, I just want to ask because like so Americans we kind of get like influenced a lot and stuff like that by like overseas. I mean, yeah, as you can see, I'm wearing like a Japanese anime
Yep.
shirt on and stuff like that. So are you guys uh like do you guys take like a lot of like American culture and stuff like that? Like do y'all like that shit or y'all just kind of like that is the dumbest shit I've ever
Yeah,
seen?
no, no, no.
Because don't get me wrong, we
I
do
think
some dumb shit.
no, definitely when it comes to clothes, like, and honestly, like when we wear clothes, you don't think about what you're wearing. Like, it's so weird. And like we always take in the American stuff. Like, even to when it comes to ice hockey, like the Belfast Giants, their own hockey team. And the fact that none of them are from Belfast, like none of them, they're all they're all from America. But everyone in Belfast just loves to follow them, even though they have no idea what's going on, or like Super Bowl and all of that. Like everyone just goes mad for it. But like honestly, we have no idea what's going on.
See, you guys like fandom is awesome.
Yeah, yeah,
See, your guys' fandom is awesome though, man. Like, especially like I don't want to say like soccer hooligans because that's taking it to like an extreme, but
yeah, yeah,
like loyal like soccer fans, like fans of like football clubs.
yeah,
Like, man, that shit goes to like a whole different level overseas. You know what I mean? Because like you
yeah,
see like the Manchester United fans and shit like that, and
yeah,
I've never seen Dynamo fans like that, which is like our Houston team that we have here in the MLS.
yeah.
I've never seen no shit like that, man.
It's so weird. Like, and it's so I don't understand. I don't understand why it's so worldwide. Like honestly, I would sit down and I would rather watch like an ice hockey match or something like that than to watch our soccer or football. Like it's just it's so like, it's all about the money now. Like there's no good games. It's just all money.
So,
Because I
is
was
rugby still pretty big over there in Ireland?
yeah, yeah. I guess rugby would be. When you're following, well, I guess Ulster and Ireland would be our two teams. But again, it's just a very, um, I don't know how to describe it. Like we wouldn't consider it our own sport. If that makes sense. Like it's just a global sport, and we have our own team. But it's, I guess, over here when it comes to here, like I don't know if you've heard, but we've got some religious problems over here. So like when
I was gonna ask that, but I was gonna wait to
yeah,
bring it up. When I
like we over here, like you would either be playing rugby and football, or you'd be playing Gaelic football. So like Gaelic football would be close to rugby, but uh, it's so hard to explain just because it's from Southern Ireland. People from Northern Ireland don't consider themselves to be playing Gaelic football, so it gets very tense when it comes to sports here. Like,
Yeah, because I noticed there's like a beef between North and South Ireland. Like I noticed sometimes God, I want to say South Ireland. Like y'all are more like into like the traditional like Irish and Gaelic ways. You
yeah,
know what I mean? Like y'all are more like I guess prideful of like y'all heritage and stuff like that. Where Northern Ireland is like fucking like get off it. You know?
yeah, yeah. It's it's so interesting, like hearing someone else's view, like from totally outside of it, because like yeah, I guess if you think of like Northern Ireland and England, they would be sided, and then against Northern or against Southern Ireland, are really like into the Irish heritage and all. But then like I think there's a bit of crossover like nowadays. Like I think we do start to appreciate all of the wee bits in a way. But there is still that divide. Like it's so bizarre, like to be in 2023 and and like people are still divided. Like it's meant to. But I guess it happens in other places of the world as well. It's just ours are a bit more public and a bit more global.
Yeah, there's definitely like a fascination about it, I guess, about like Ireland and stuff like that. Like, is there anything maybe that like maybe from like the Celtic or the Gaelic days that maybe like you or your family still like hold like strong like in your family?
um, yeah, I mean, I guess you could say that. Like at certain days, like I mean, you would have like St Patrick's Day, and people would be like celebrating the Saint Patrick and so on with Ireland, and then you'd have like 12th of July where people would be going out and parading the streets and like showing their flag, and it's such a bizarre concept. Like anywhere else in the world, you wouldn't get it, but it's I think it's so welcoming to other people to come and experience that, because this is the thing about Ireland and Northern Ireland, like we would fight with each other and we hate each other, but we would welcome everyone into it in that kind of way. Like it's such a bizarre situation. Like we're okay fighting amongst ourselves, but we won't fight with anyone else.
Yeah. Northern Irelanders are like everybody's welcome except South Ireland.
But I think that he says like I think everyone has, and you know what, I think lockdown is a big thing to play with that. Like we were all in our houses and we were all like got out of lockdown, and then we were like a bit more appreciative and a bit more welcoming to people. There's still those people who are just diehard, and let's be honest, like in generations to come, it will still be like that. There will still be people who just fight for their land, and they're thinking, you know, this is Ireland. We want it to be Ireland. And then there's other people who say, no, we will. The thing about it is, like, no matter what side you're on, I think if all of Ireland became one, the economy and stuff would suffer. Like, because with Northern Ireland, it's joined up with the UK economy, and with the Southern Ireland, their economy isn't just as good. So I think there is some complications there, or complications there. Yeah,
Yeah. So like what's going on with Brexit right now? Does that like really affect you
it's
guys or
a
not really?
complete fucking mess. It is a mess. because
That's
all
one way to put it. I was trying to be nice, but yeah.
oh, it's a mess. See, but because basically we have then that border of like See, even so, this is an explanation. Me and my partner went over to France last week, so we went to Paris, did Disneyland, all of that. But usually, then, if you're going from Dublin and you're going to Paris, that's fine, because they're both in the EU. But because we're from Northern Ireland and we had British passports, we then had to go through passport control uh, to get into France, even though it's still meant to be in the EU. But we're out of the EU now, being in Northern Ireland. So like anything connected with the EU is a real problem. Like there's a big border now. Basically, there's a border, but then people who consider themselves Irish don't want that border, and that's where the complications are. Like because um, neither side can win there. Like because if there's a border, like it's so hard to get anywhere in the EU. Even just like you go on Amazon and you click on to buy a product, and it says it won't ship to where you are because of the price and because of the packaging, um, just to get across all these hurdles. But I think in the past week they were saying about they're starting to kind of almost reach some kind of agreement or some kind of deal that will kind of keep the door open because
That's insane to think about, man.
yeah.
That's like legitimately mind blowing to me. To a
And do you know what?
fucking idiot.
No, but do you know what? Like anyone across the world, I don't know how anyone understands it because even us here, we don't understand it. Like it's so past ourselves. Like we just everyone's just taking sides. It's just no one understands it.
See, because I was gonna ask, so like for like a dumbass like myself, you know what I mean? How would you explain Brexit?
How would I explain Brexit? Brexit was basically if we left the EU. So like the UK was considered to be in the EU, so everything was fine. So you could like travel between, you know, England and France and Spain and all that, and be fine. And like with businesses as well, when they're trading, like everything would be fine. But now with Brexit, because they have left the EU, if you're wanting to send anything as a business into the UK from Europe, that's when things get a bit like, there's higher costs and so on, and traveling is a bit harder because of borders and yeah, that's just where it gets complicated just because we've left the EU. Like if we stayed in the EU, everything would be fine. But then it was the whole deal where you were voting to leave or stay, and I don't think anyone understood like what was going to happen if you did leave. Like no one understood that you would be disconnected from everything, and if you went on Amazon to order a phone charger, there would be some problems with getting a phone charger to yourself. Like it's so weird in 2023 that that's the thing, but. Um, I think so far they've just managed it. There's been like exceptions and so on, but who knows what's going to happen? No idea.
Well, I mean, hopefully they get that shit sorted, man. So
Yeah.
you talked a little bit about like economically how Brexit has like affected you guys. Has it affected y'all at all, like culturally?
No, I don't think so. Well, I guess it's just heightened people's awareness of culture. Like if you're from Northern Ireland, you you obviously kind of want a bit of a border between Northern Ireland and the EU and Southern Ireland and so on. So I guess people, yeah, because I mean, there's people on the streets rioting and like burning buses and like back 2 days of like 1970 where like people are just showing anger. So yeah, it's just incredible. Like I was even reading a news story like this week where people were saying that people who were they were in like drug debts, so they were set like by people higher up. They were told if they went onto the street, then their drug debt would be like decreased by like £50, £60 if they went out on the street and rioted. Like it's just
Oh
it's
wow,
just insane, like insane.
you're blowing my mind right now, Peter.
Yeah, this is almost a bit of a bit like a history lesson.
just a little.
But this is the thing,
just
like this is the thing
I'm
because
just so
I've always
fascinated.
wondered like what other people outside of the little fishbowl, like, what they think. That just shows like how bizarre it really is.
Yeah, 'cause I think it's just kind of hard for like us, like in the U.S., to kind of understand something like that. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah,
it's like, at the end of the day, it's like, oh, okay, we're like all U.S. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
it's
yeah,
like
yeah,
USA,
yeah,
type
yeah,
shit. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
So to hear something like this, it's just like mind blowing, kind of like to think about. You know what I mean?
And I think that's why,
Because you think
like,
of like South and North being separated, you think more like back in olden times type shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like Civil War type shit. You don't really think like, I mean, 1970. That's fucking 50
No.
years ago, man. You know what I mean? Like that's not that long ago.
No, no. And I think that's why we are the place, and everyone says like we're always so welcoming to other people because we just know anyone who comes here will not understand it. So there's no point of even getting into it, or there's no point in like fighting anyone else because we won't. We know that the whole situation is ridiculous, but I don't think I don't think in my lifetime it will change. You know, I guess there's still what 1970s. That's something like one generation away that it was happening.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's not that long ago,
No.
man. That's like a grandpa away, which
Yeah, yeah.
isn't even like a lot. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. And things are still going on to this day.
And not
like,
even a grandpa. That's like a father away.
yeah, like a father. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because like there's things even to this day that are only like going through the court system and going through justice. Like people who were shot and people who were killed. Like in those days, only getting sorted out now. Like
That's insane.
Yeah.
I don't even know what to say, man. That's crazy.
it is. It is. Because like almost you see like those stories from like across the world, like I guess and this is the really bizarre thing, like Palestine and Israel, that I guess is the same kind of situation there where they're not sure. But the thing that's mad about Northern Ireland is that each side, whether you're from whether you consider yourself to be Northern Ireland or Irish, you pick a flag, you pick a Palestine flag or you pick an Israel flag to then side with like Palestine because you're going to be fighting for your country or not fighting for it's so bizarre. So like when tourists come here and they see like Palestine flags and Israel flags up on our streets and they're just so confused about what is going on, like why are they seeing all these different flags?
Yeah. Oh man, see, that's some good advice right there. See, now I know.
Yeah,
See, I
now you
gotta
know
stay
why.
on the
Yeah,
Palestinian side, or I gotta
yeah,
stay
yeah.
on the Israelite side.
Yeah, and you will see like streets
I gotta pick a side.
Streets in Belfast like just decorated with flags, like it's just marking your territory. Like you either see the Irish tricolor, or you'll see like the Union Jack flag, just marking territory. Like it's bizarre. And even in these days, like you could argue that someone who would be flying the Irish flag wouldn't be going up streets with the other flag. It's so bizarre.
That's insane, man.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest with you. This is some gang shit y'all got going on. Dude. So, do you have like any like exciting projects you're working on right now, whether with the podcast or as far as like in your career, anything?
I'm trying to get into a wee bit more recording, so with piano, and I came across the site Fiverr. I don't know if you've heard of that, where like people go on offer their service and so on. So I've been doing a lot of stuff on there, like recording piano for people's songs and albums. So yeah, I think I just want to continue with that. There's nothing really that I'm in the forefront. I'm just kind of helping people with their projects, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Hey man, it's everything helps. You know what I mean? Like even just the small part, like that helps.
Yeah.
Just a little piano that you
Yeah.
hear in the background of a song. That shit's important because if
Yeah,
it wasn't there,
yeah,
the
I know.
song would sound the same.
That's so true. Like, especially like piano. Like piano would be one of those instruments. Like, I think if you listen to a song, you wouldn't really notice it, or you wouldn't notice like all of those sounds. Like everyone notices the guitar or the drums, but like piano really does fill it out. Like you would miss piano if you didn't hear it. Yeah,
You got to be like a real music aficionado, I think, to try to be like listening for the keys. You know what I mean? Like in the background where you're like,
Yeah,
oh, damn,
yeah.
like here the piano comes in right here, bam.
Yeah,
You know
exactly.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I got friends that are like really into music, and
Uh-huh.
they'll be talking to me, and I'm like, dude, it's just a good song. Like I don't fucking know shit. Like you know what I mean?
I know.
Like my friends, man, shout out to Splash World Radio. Like they do like they're like into music, so like they know
Mhm.
like all like the intricacies and stuff like that. Where they're like, oh man, you can hear the snare right here, like hear that shit hit and stuff like that. And I'm like,
Yeah,
I don't even know what the fucking snare drum is, guy. Like you know,
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah.
Like
I
I
think
just like the little sound it makes.
yeah. I think that's just like a bad thing about being a musician, like because you like I don't think you can switch off when you're listening to music because you're always like listening for all those different parts. You're like listening for piano, or you're listening to the way someone sings something. Like you can never switch off and just listen to music, like relax to music.
Yeah, because you're kind of just like judging the melody and the tone and
Yeah,
all that stuff.
I would love to
Yeah,
just
like, I have
for
a friend that used to like.
I would love for one day just to
Oh no, go
not
ahead.
be
Sorry.
for one day not to be a musician and just to be able to sit down and listen to a song.
Yeah, man, I have a friend who's like he's like really into singing and stuff like that, and so like he'll be listening to music, and I'm jamming, you know what I mean? I'm just like, oh, la da 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 da,
Yeah.
and then he'll just come in and he'll be like, a little off note there, huh? Little off key,
Oh
but it's all
yeah.
right. Like they brought it back type shit. I'm like, oh, dude, like you're gonna ruin this song for me now.
Yeah, yeah. That is so true.
I
Like,
don't really think about people
and
being off
songs
key.
they can be so easily like ruined. Like when you hear something like that, and it's just like when something's pointed out to you, like music can be so easily
Mm.
ruined. I think when you're like learning piano
Yeah,
or
and it's like quick.
learning an instrument as well, it almost ruins it for you because like you're been learned to or you've been kind of taught to study it, and yeah, it's just so hard just to like hear something new.
Do you think that like stifles creativity though? Like I don't know about you, but like again, when I used to take like piano and stuff like that,
Hmm.
and I used to just like play on the piano because I used to like the sounds and stuff like that, and I'll kind of try to like sort of like make up my own little melodies and shit like that. And my teacher would be like, "That's not the way that you do that. Let me show you the correct way to do that."
Yeah,
Like, do you think that kind of like stifles creativity a little bit,
I think so.
or are they just kind of more like trying to show you the foundation so that way you can build on that?
Like there's half and half. Like I think some people work better when you hear. I think was the Beatles or something where they weren't taught music. They just like picked up guitar or they picked up piano and they just worked their way through it and they worked out songs and they worked out chords. Or like if you're taught piano, I think or you're taught music. Sometimes I think you're very restricted because like you learn all the rules and you're like not sure whether to break them or not. Whereas I think like if you didn't learn all the rules, you figured it out by yourself and you figured out like things that sound well together, I think sometimes that works better.
So it's kind of more up to like your creative mind, I guess. Because, like I said, some people like I think that they do need the, for lack of a better term, like the building blocks, like that sturdy
Yeah,
foundation
yeah,
of
yeah,
like how to do something properly, and then build off that. Where like how you said the Beatles, it's just kind of like I like this, and I'm just gonna sort of play with it with my ear for what I like.
yeah, yeah. No, I think definitely like and there'll be some people who like will not listen to things. Like I know some musicians who they don't listen to it, but they work it out like mathematically, and if all the numbers are right and it works well, that's what they'll use. Like whereas then other people would just be doing it as their own sound. Like it's bizarre. Like everyone has their own different way of working it out.
So like, what's your favorite type of music? Like that you just listen to? Like Peter gets in the car, presses play. What's playing?
Yeah, yeah, it's true. Like, and it's just, and I actually, you know what, I like, I almost hate people who can just pick up instruments and like, there's a guy in our band and he plays bass, but he could pick up anything. He could pick up the keys, he could pick up drums, and he just sits and plays it. Like some people are just built for it. I think some people just can't learn it in a way. I think some people are just born to play music.
Yeah, they're like just musically like inclined, I guess. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Like it's
No,
just
they
sort of
really
like
are.
built into them.
Yeah.
So what kind of music do you listen to? Like on your free time? Like you get in your car, you get on your phone, you press play on Spotify or Apple Music, whatever app you use.
Um, I think I would be. I went through a bit of a phase of like a Mumford and Sons kind of phase, you know, like a like an indie rock kind of phase, um,
Yeah.
or like an Oasis. That's kind of what I would be listening to, I think. But then again, like when you go back to like the Beatles and so on, like I don't think you can kind of beat music like that because see, like listening to like the top 40 now, it's just every single song sounds the same. Let's be honest, like it's the
Yeah.
same shit just repeated. So yeah, I think it really is like the Justin Bieber of the world. Like he's just releasing the same song.
You're telling me you're not a believer, Peter?
No, I'm not a believer. I'm a believer, but I'm not a believer.
That's great. Oh dear Jesus. That's great, man. So I was listening to this like this guy that he does like tattoos. I think in shit. I think in Dublin or something like that.
Hmm.
And he was like, the thing that I hate the most is like when people come over here and they want to get like a fucking shamrock or a leprechaun or some dumb shit like that.
Yeah,
Like so that way I'm not just a dipshit American stooge when I go over there. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like what are some like cultural don'ts when visiting Ireland?
Some cultural don'ts. One
Like
of
some
the
shit that maybe is offensive or that y'all just like roll your eyes like this is dumb shit.
one thing is like just and I guess it's the same in like every European like city where everyone just flocks to those tourist areas, and you would walk past or drive past a certain bar and you know like they're getting ripped off. Like that's one of the big things, especially
Yeah.
especially in Dublin, like for drinks and for bars. Like you'll pass one, like I mean, you go to the Temple Bar area, and you'll pay maybe like I guess last time I was there was like €8, €9 for a pint, and then you go like the next block, like behind the Temple Bar, and people are paying like 4.50, and you're walking past everyone who's visiting and just thinking, like I guess you don't know
What a
any better.
dumbass.
Like if you yeah, like if you go to some other city, like it's gonna be the same. You do flock to like where everyone else is, but yeah, it is. And then it's the people who go. This is what I hate. I don't know if everyone else hates this as well, but when you go into those shops, I love Ireland. I love Dublin. You know the t-shirts and the hoodies, and people walking. Oh,
Yeah.
I hate seeing those t-shirts. It's such a like I hate them. Like you don't love Ireland. You've been here like 5 minutes. You don't love Ireland. You don't love Dublin. Like you like.
Like you don't know shit about here. You don't love
Yeah,
anything.
yeah. Or someone who's had like one pint of Guinness and then they go to the Guinness store and buy like every like a pencil case and a pencil and everything to do with Guinness because they've had one Guinness. Like,
Yeah.
calm down. Like you don't do that for anything else.
Basically, act normal. Act like a regular motherfucker.
Yeah,
Don't come over here.
yeah. Act normal and don't and
Don't be a
don't
tourist.
and don't be ripped off. Yeah, don't be ripped off by everyone. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
But
don't make an ass of yourself, basically.
yeah, but yeah, oh the Shamrock tattoos and all. Like I think it's that they would be good at the time. I think I understand that, but it is when you go home and you have to explain why you've got like a Shamrock on you. Like, oh, because I went to Dublin that
Yeah.
one time, so I decided to get a Shamrock on me. Like it's yeah.
Because I spent the weekend in Dublin.
Yeah, yeah. It's like me like going to New York and getting like the Empire State Building like tattooed to my arm. Like why? Like why would you do that? Like it's
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, if I travel, because I love to travel, if I go somewhere, I try not to be a tourist. Like, I want to see, for me, right? I want to see beautiful shit. Like I
Hmm,
went to Jamaica and I went to like this little private island thing that they had or whatever, like this like private beach.
yeah,
And like I love seeing cool shit. You know
yeah,
what I mean? Like I don't have any mementos or anything like that from Jamaica. I just like
yeah,
I more so like want the experience. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And
yeah.
I think that that's kind of more appreciated. I think also another thing that sometimes people do that makes them seem a little bit asinine is like just we'll stick to Jamaica. When I was in Jamaica, people were like doing that like Amon, like like making the accent.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
do you guys find that offensive, or y'all just like y'all are dipshits?
Oh no, I think we just accept that happens.
You're like, fuck it, they're gonna do it anyway.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And because I love going to places, and yeah, okay, you know when you go to like the TripAdvisor and you see what's popular nearby, like that's all right, that's fine. You need to know where the big places are, but it's the people who are just like going by those things and ticking them off. Despite like because TripAdvisor says that these are the 10 places we need to go to, we're going to go to every single one of these 10 places. Like I think just explore, like just go around the area and just see what's about. Like I think you'll see much more stuff like that just by going in and walking about.
Just go in and enjoy the experience. You don't have to go see all this
Yeah,
touristy shit. Like it's not a
yeah, yeah.
necessity.
Because like I hate
Because
like
I think
like
those don't even show like the most beautiful things.
no, no. It's again. I think it's just all those places that will trap you into the money. Like it's not like if you just end up walking around and like just coming across things like just and you'll. I think you appreciate things more when you've just happened to walk past like some beautiful building.
Like you stumble upon it. You know what I mean? Like you stumble upon like a beautiful like old church or some shit like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
You're just
yeah,
like, God
yeah.
damn.
And
Look at.
you found
I
yourself.
remember I was in. Yeah, exactly. Because I remember one time I was in Mexico and I fuck where was I? Oof, I don't remember where. I was somewhere in goddamn Mexico, and we were traveling around, you know what I mean, and looking around and shit like that.
Mhm.
And I just like happened upon this like big beautiful fucking church that they were restoring and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And the only people in there were like an organ player and like somebody painting some shit on the wall.
Mhm.
And I
Mhm.
just like I'm not a very like religious person, but like just like this like feeling overwhelmed me where I was like, this is just like fucking incredible. And then like I just like started reading like the little shit that they had out,
Yeah.
and it's like, oh, this church is like fucking 1,000 years old and shit like that. It's like one of the first pillars of Catholicism built here in Mexico or whatever the fuck. And I was like, this is like incredible. Like this is mind blowing shit. You know what I mean? And I just happened there because I was taking a jog in the morning with my then girlfriend. We were taking a jog in the morning, and we're just taking a jog and happened upon this fucking church.
And that's the same, like that's the moments like you'll remember, like when you think back to the trip, like you'll think of that place, like instead of just going through the TripAdvisor list of things to do, and half the time they're not even things to do, like they're just taking you through like like a building that is maybe like the oldest building there, so they take you there, and it's you can't even see anywhere near the building because there's such a crowd. Whereas like if you just stumble across three buildings yourself, stumble across like we with the scenery, like it's much more exciting, I think.
You're just watching people, and you're like, that building is a piece of shit. Why are you
Yeah,
there? Like,
yeah. Yeah, that's
why are
so
you at
true.
this old crumbling building?
Yeah, yeah. Because like it's like
Oh, that's
and it's
fucking
things
great.
like that aren't in the city center. Like the whole TripAdvisor thing just wants you to be in the city center, and I think like if you just go on the outskirts, just even like 10 minutes outside, that's where you find out the good stuff.
Like, I think it wants you to stay like in a touristy kind of like strip almost. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Where it's like, oh, hey, these are the tourist shops. These are the tourist things to look at. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they try to keep you in an enclosed area basically,
yep,
where they're like funneling the money into
yep,
that
yep,
one
yep.
spot.
One of them was on the list was like one of like a wax museum, and I went in the first time when I seen it, and honestly, it's the worst experience of my life. Like I have I could have made I could have, honestly like I could have made some of the wax figures that were there, and they were like like the classic. It was like it was a rock and roll wax museum, and there's like like Jimi Hendrix and all like, and
Yeah.
they all look the same. And like this is on
Just
TripAdvisor, and
different
like
pigments or
yeah,
what?
yeah, like this is on TripAdvisor, and this is a go to place. And also, what is a wax museum got to do with Dublin? Like, it just doesn't make sense. You just made that a thing just to get money from it. Like, it's
Yeah. Just made it because fat tourists love that shit.
yeah, 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 yeah.
All right, Peter, you're Boogie. All right, put yourself in my shoes here.
Mhm.
All right, you go to Dublin. You want to get a tattoo. What do you get?
Hmm. Now, because you said
And I
that
guess a
you're
shamrock and a leprechaun are out the fucking question.
yeah, 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 oh, totally, yeah, totally. Anything green, just don't go anything green. I think that
Don't go anything.
because you said you're into Guinness, I think like a wee pint of Guinness would be good because you do drink Guinness anyway. So it's, it's not just a
Oh, I
typical
love
thing.
Guinness.
I know. I think that would be a good thing. Just a wee
You got
tiny,
okay.
tiny pint of Guinness.
Just a small pint somewhere.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I think it'd be the best thing.
There we go, man. You've already set me up. I'm
Yeah.
getting me a small pint of Guinness when I go visit Dublin now. Hopefully, I'm not drunk. I'm like, put Peter
I
on
know,
the
I know.
Guinness.
Yeah,
Like,
and like a green pint of Guinness or something. Yeah.
for no fucking reason.
Yeah.
Put a shamrock as a garnish.
Yeah,
Fucking.
yeah.
Where does that come from, man? That like shamrock leprechaun shit. Like, yeah, did y'all start that, or where the fuck does that come from?
Now, from
Are there
memory,
just that many shamrocks in Ireland or something? Like, what's going on there?
it's meant to be a lucky thing. Yeah, it's like a lucky charm. Like Shamrock's meant to be lucky, and then the leprechaun's meant to be lucky as well. But as far as I know, and I really should know this, but as far as I know, like leprechaun, it's just the whole fairy tale and being lucky and finding pots of gold, and so it's all about luck, really. Like when people say luck of the Irish, that's why, because there's so many like just
Yeah.
really lucky charms. Um,
Which,
and
when you kind
funny,
of look at it historically, not a very lucky people. Like,
yeah, no, not lucky at all. Like, first of all, we live in Ireland, so we're not lucky. If you were lucky, you would get the first boat out. Like,
The luckiest people leave, huh?
yeah, yeah, exactly. The luckiest people aren't here.
That's a great one, man.
Like, do you have a lot of like Irish bars like around you? Because I found when I went to America, that was a massive thing. Like, just an Irish bar cropping up everywhere.
Uh so like Irish heritage, yeah, like not necessarily like with a shamrock and shit outside, but like
Mm.
especially here, like in Houston, we're very like multicultural and like diversified and shit like that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So there'll be like some like we have like Molly's, like that's an Irish pub, which
Mhm.
is a terrible example because that one actually has a shamrock.
Mhm.
But there's
Yeah,
like a couple of like Irish pubs and shit like
yeah,
that
yeah, yeah.
that like you can go to, and like they have Guinness, and you know like they try
Mhm.
to do like traditional, like I guess traditional shit. Like they have like
Yeah.
Celtic crosses and you know like
Hmm.
Gaelic
Hmm.
signs and shit like that. And for some reason on the fucking jukebox they have like old like Gaelic songs, and I'm like,
Hmm.
I get it, I guess. You know what I mean? Like that's their like I guess interpretation of like Irish culture.
Yeah.
But like there's this one Irish bar. Fuck, I only went one time. I can't remember the name of it now. But there's like an Irish bar here that like the original owner, the grandfather, came here from Ireland, opened up the pub, and it's just been like passing down through his family,
Hmm.
and it's like an actual like pub or whatever the fuck. But is it like I didn't even know it was an Irish pub, but because they don't focus on like the Irish part of it, they're just like this
Yeah.
is Irish owned, like that's
Yeah.
about it. That's as Irish as it gets.
Yeah.
Is the owner.
Yeah. And like it's because I find it so weird. Like, I had a friend who went to Benidorm on holiday, and the only thing that he did when he was away was go to this Irish bar every night. I'm like, you go on holiday to then go into an Irish bar? Like, it's so bizarre.
That's pretty insane.
Yeah.
I mean, that's great, but that's insane.
Yeah. Yeah. Like,
Do
experience
you
something
guys have
different.
like so do y'all have like an American equivalent? Like how we got Irish pubs? Do y'all have like an American bar where you just for no reason blast Bruce Springsteen and shit and have
Yeah.
fried foods everywhere?
In Dublin, actually, there is a couple of places. Like, more so when it comes to food. Like, places are like Americanized, and like, like the only way I can describe it is the movie Grease. Like those kind of restaurants, those American diners. They are big.
Oh, like those greaser diners and shit.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh
Like,
wow, that's crazy.
yeah, they are. But like,
So like
and
old school American culture, not so much this new shit.
yeah, no, no, it's a cool thing to do, just to go into that kind of diner, or like that kind of like, I guess, truck stop cafe, I guess you would call it. Um, just that, yeah, that's a
Hmm.
big thing, especially in Dublin. Actually, I mean, I think in like around the Temple Bar area, there's at least three or four of them, like based on that. Yeah.
That's insane. See, like because me like how you said, if you go somewhere else, I think you want to experience their culture, not
Mm,
necessarily like your own. But I bet like that's a big like tourists love fucking going there. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
they're probably like, fuck yeah, bro. I just came from
yeah,
America. I'm gonna check out this American shit. You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
which don't get me
And
wrong,
the fact,
love
like,
America, but god damn, I'm like,
and the fact it's all about, like, it's all about Instagram now. So like, people, go to these places and just to take the Instagram, just because it looks good and it looks like retro, it looks quirky.
I mean, Peter, if it didn't happen on Instagram, did it really happen at all? You know what I
Exactly.
mean?
Hmm.
That's like I know that's the crazy culture thing that we live in, man. Where it's like if that shit didn't happen and like on Instagram, it didn't happen. I remember when
Yeah.
that was like a big like saying or whatever the fuck, and that like boggled my fucking mind because I was like, what does
Hmm.
that even mean? Like just
Yeah.
because I didn't post a photo of that shit, like that means it just like didn't happen.
Mm. Like, it was mad, like,
Like, do
because
y'all have that also? Like, are y'all big on like?
like 100%, like
Oh,
like
sorry.
everything,
Like, are y'all
everything
big
is
on Instagram
Instagram.
influencers?
Because like, I think, like, even when I remember when Facebook was just coming out a thing, like I was in my teens, so like when I was in like, I think it was maybe 12 or 13 when Facebook was becoming a really big thing, and that was a time when people were like going down to the local shop and checking into the local shop, because you didn't go to the shop if you didn't check in. Like, such a bizarre culture.
Yeah, like people had to know you were there type shit. See, I find that crazy because, like I said, I was in prison when like the whole like social media thing like really blew up. You know what I mean? So I mean, we talked about it a little bit on the Stumble Across podcast. If you guys want to go check it out, and it was just like insane. You know what I mean? Because I went in and Facebook was like the fucking thing, and then I come out and now it's like Instagram and TikTok and all this other fucking shit, where it's like if like you got to post your whole fucking life online, or else like you're a loser, or whatever.
And it's like so bizarre. Like, and even like the people are making a living just from posting things and just from going to places and saying that they were at this place. Like, you could never thought that that would ever happen.
See, that's like the thing that like boggles my mind is we had a guest on here. Shout out to Kentucky guy, one of like the very first guests that we ever had on, and like he has a YouTube channel where he just like unboxes things. Like he like orders
Mm-hmm.
shit and just like unboxes it and then like reviews it. And I'm like, that's crazy that you can make money just doing that shit. Like ordering
Yeah.
something that you need and you know what's coming. You know what I mean? It's not
Mhm.
like it's a surprise fucking box.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah.
you ordered it
Yeah.
and then you open it, you're like, whoa, holy shit, it's an LED light bulb or something.
Uh-huh.
And then you just review it like, yep, that shit does look like
Yeah.
daylight. You know what I mean? Like, that's
So-
insane to me, man.
And actually, there's these I can't remember their names now, but they're really famous in like UK and Europe. They're two kids, and they're like 3 and 4, and they're unboxing toys that come through the door, and they're worth like millions already, and they're only 3 and 4. It's, like we
That's
just had a wee
insane,
one.
man.
Our wee one,
That's-
she just turned 1 just before Christmas there, and I'm thinking, that is what we're going to get into. We're going to start unboxing toys. Like we
You're just looking at her like, oh, look at daddy's little money maker. Like,
yeah, dollar signs.
You're like daddy's little golden ticket. Come here,
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
Come sit on daddy's lap. Your little bank account.
Yeah. I'll just say you can get 50%. Don't worry about that. I'll put that in savings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're like, listen, you got to pay the daddy tax. You
Yeah,
just
yeah,
have
yeah.
to. It's law. You know what I mean?
Because I don't think
Until you
you're.
can wipe your own ass.
I don't think it's exploitation. Like if I'm not taking all of it, I think if I'm giving her some, it's not exploitation.
I mean, if they're 3 or 4, what the fuck are they going to spend that money on, man? They don't even know what money is, for God's sake. You know what I mean?
Better food.
You buy them a fucking pony, that's all the money in the world to them. They don't know no goddamn different.
That's so true. Yeah.
She don't know no better.
But even the fact like she be growing up
Oh, that's
in this
funny.
world of like Instagram and TikTok, and I'm just thinking, fuck me, like it's such a big thing. Like, because all I had to deal with that when I was growing up was I don't. Do you remember Bebo? That's just a big thing. I don't know if it was such a
don't
big
think so.
American thing. It was just after MySpace.
Nah, see, I don't think so, because I think again, went to prison, but I think we made the jump right from MySpace to Facebook.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not a historian on that, but I think.
I just think like I think things were a lot simpler then when you only had like one thing. Like everyone was just on Facebook and you were just sorting out things. But now you've got like so many things. Like see when I wake up in the morning, like I'm not afraid to admit this, like I have to literally check about 7 apps to go through. You know, your Instagram, your TikTok, Twitter, your Facebook, your emails, and you're just going through all these things and checking. Like it takes me a good half an hour to even get through all those in the morning. I'm thinking I am addicted.
See, like I said, luckily I've never had no shit like that. I look at my phone. I look to see if I have like any important notifications, and then if I don't, I just close it and I'm like, I could get to this shit later. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I do my whole work day, and then when I come home, that's when like I check everything, because then I'm like, all right, so what the fuck is happened during my day?
Yeah. And it's just
Sometimes like I get back to people late and shit like that, but I try to get to people ASAP. Like, so for like me, right? Like, because I respond to like the Instagram personally. So if I see like there's like a business thing, or maybe somebody with a question or some shit like that, like then I'll go out of my way to like answer it first thing in the morning. But most of the time, if it's not fucking important, I'm just like, whatever, dude. Like I'll get to that shit later.
Like we had this TV show, I think it was called The Circle, where like 8 or 9 people went into this apartment block, and they left their phones behind, and they had spent like 2 weeks, and they didn't speak to anyone, and it was such a task, like just watching people being without their phones for 2 weeks, like people. I don't think anyone could survive now without a phone.
Yeah, man, it's insane. Like to me, that was the craziest thing about prison. Like getting there, and then like you're just sort of like cut off from all this technology, And if you want to talk to somebody, you have to write a handwritten fucking letter. And you feel like, oh my God, I'm in the medieval ages. I have to write
Mm.
a fucking letter to get some correspondence type shit. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah. And will that letter ever get there? Like, you're not going to see like a delivered sign or like a red sign on a letter.
Yeah, never. You never know if they get it. It might get lost in the mail. I'm talking about because sometimes, man, like some dudes, they'll send like let's just say hypothetically, right? You send a letter to your wife, bam. You send the letter out. You're like, okay, it takes 3 days to get there, maybe 2 days to respond if she's fucking busy, and then 3 days back. So
Mhm.
you've already in your head made up when you should get this letter back. So you're like, okay, I sent the letter out Monday. By Wednesday, I should get some correspondence. And then like it's already next Wednesday, and you're like, fuck, man, I haven't heard anything. What's going on? Da, 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 da.
Yeah.
And then like 4 days later, after you're over, you're stressing, thinking like, oh my God, she's cheating on me, the whore, and like crazy shit like that, all going through your mind. It you finally get your letter back. This is return to sender, address no good, because you forgot a fucking letter or a number, and then you just feel like an
Yeah.
asshole.
Yeah, yeah.
That,
Uh,
that that's terrible, man.
and
That
see,
was the worst
even
part.
see, even like in schools now, like you don't even learn how to write a letter. Like people wouldn't even know how to write an address now.
No, man, and like, yeah, especially like you think about this, man. Somebody posed the question to me. They were like, if if all your contacts got deleted, how many people could you like call or like text just off memory? And I was like, my dad, like that's it, and that's because he's had the same number since I was like 5. You know what I mean? I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't know anybody else's number. Like, how the
The
fuck?
only
Like,
number
how
I
would you even
know
contact my dad?
is my childhood home, and I left it when I was about 7, and I still remember that number, and that's it. That's the only number I know.
I don't remember that number, man. We used to have a fucking like a corded house phone,
Yeah,
and I do not remember the number for that shit. But it's like seared into my memory. My dad's phone number, and then my sister's phone number is also ingrained in my head, but because it's so easy, you know what I mean. And even then, I think I might fuck up on the numbers because the last 4 I get confused on. So even then, it'd be a problem.
yeah.
I might text a random motherfucker, and they're gonna be like, "Who is this?"
Because like even like
But
having
like
like those
that's it, man.
even having those like landlines and house phones, like people just don't have them anymore. Just like it's so weird. Like I remember like when our house we had 2 house phones and we had a phone upstairs and a phone downstairs. I remember like when my mom was on the phone downstairs, I could pick up the phone upstairs and listen to what was going on, like listen to the phone line in the house, and like that was my entertainment.
Yeah.
Like people will not experience that these days. Like it's so sad. It's so sad.
Yeah, you think about it, man. It's like that's why now I think about kids. I'm like, you're so fucking spoiled, man. Like you
Yeah,
have like technology in the world at your fucking
yeah,
fingertips. And my childhood was playing with sticks, pretending that they were Pokemon. You know what I mean? Like I
yeah,
remember that shit. Me and my brothers going outside with sticks that just like fell off the tree looking funny, and we're like, "That's a Pokemon.
yeah,
Gotta
yeah,
catch it."
yeah.
Da-da-da-da-da.
I was
You know
like,
what I mean?
I like, and
Like
like
just
saying, like,
dumb shit.
I had like a BMX bike, and it's like, what? Like, what? You went outside in after school and you played outside? Like, did you not get kidnapped? Did you not get stabbed? Did you not get like? I was like, no, like none of that stuff happened.
Man, I don't even remember spending any days at fucking home, dude. Like once I got old enough to where my dad trusted me to like walk around the neighborhood to go meet my friends and shit like that. Like we meet up and go play soccer or some shit,
Yeah,
or just go, general tomfoolery or whatever the fuck we get into. Like I was never fucking home, man. Like I'd be
the,
gone, and then he'd just be like, "Just be home before too late, or I'm gonna kick your ass." And I'm like, "Well, I don't want an ass kicking, so I'm gonna be home at a reasonable fucking time."
yeah, yeah.
And
But you
like
know, like a
now,
phone to check
you
the
gotta
time.
like no, man, you just go by the sun. You're like,
Yeah,
if it gets dark enough, I gotta fucking leave. And
hmm
you're like, and everybody's calling you a pussy because nobody else has to go home. So everybody's just fucking with you, talking about, Boogie's gotta go home, pussy. And you're like,
yeah,
fuck you, man. At
yeah,
least I have a dad type shit. Like, you're just saying fucked up shit as a kid and running home.
yeah.
And then,
Ours
now
was
you
like
gotta, like,
ours, like when the street lights went on, that was when we had to go in. Like we knew that's when it got dark and the street lights went on. You couldn't be outside.
yeah, that was your timer. Like, when the sun was about to set and the streetlights start coming on, you're like, oh, fuck, that's my timer to go home.
Yeah, yeah,
Now, you like, kids are like terrorists, man. You have to negotiate with them to fucking go outside. You're like, okay,
yeah.
on Saturday, I will let you use 6 hours
Mhm.
of your fucking Nintendo Switch if you just go outside for 30 minutes today.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
it's fucking insane, man.
That's so true. Yeah,
Oh, it's mind blowing. I don't envy you, Peter. With a daughter, I do not envy you, man.
yeah,
Because
yeah.
so we talk a little bit about dating here on Block Talk and stuff like that. So if you could give your daughter like one piece of dating advice, what would you say? Like, let's just say, bam, your daughter's 12 magically. Your daughter is now 12. You're, 12 years from now, you'd be what, 40? So you're 40 years old, your daughter's 12, and you're going to give her some dating advice. What do you give her?
See, I was gonna say don't use the apps, but then like I did use the apps, so like and what I would say is I think go on more dates before you make any decisions. I think that was like one of my mistakes. Like you go on one date and you think, oh, this is class. Like I like this girl likes me, and we've been on one date and we think it's brilliant. Whereas now, like I think it takes a wee bit longer to get to know people. You know, people are like so like sheltered now. Like I think it's such a bizarre thing to say, but I think have a video call with someone first.
I think you got to, man. It's so crazy. Like, just speaking on dating apps, like I don't use dating apps anymore, but when I used to, just the like, God, I hate to use the word hassle, but the hassle of fucking dating apps, man, is
Yeah,
like
yeah,
insane. You know what I mean? Because like you're getting constant fucking, likes on your shit. I'm pretty sure she's definitely getting a bunch of fucking likes on her shit. So it's
yeah.
just like it's a distracted realm. You know what I mean? Where y'all are just both distracted by such bullshit. Where it's like, left, right, whatever the fuck. And then you match with somebody, and then you have like a conversation, and then the next day you won't hear anything from that person, and it's
Mm-hmm.
like, well, I guess I didn't make a good enough impression in my 3 text.
I know.
Like it's so crazy how everything's so just rapid
And
fire, man. I thought you got to make an impression fucking quick, Peter.
yeah, yeah, and it's so like soul destroying as well. Like I think like if you know that you're competing with all these people, and like it's just basically whoever has the best line will get that conversation. Like it's so weird. But whereas I think now like video call is such like a normal thing to do now. Like when we were in lockdowns over here, like all of our business, like all of our like working, it was just all done on video calls. So I think like I would tell her like just go on a video call with someone. Like don't sit there and text. Like you're never going to be able to understand that person like what they're saying with text. Like it's
Yeah, I feel like you lose so much in like text. You know what I mean? Like you lose
yeah,
like context, and like if I say a joke and like you just text that shit out, sometimes you sound like an asshole, even if you do put LOL. She's like,
yeah,
"Oh wow, you're a fucking weirdo. I'm never gonna
yeah,
text you again," type shit.
yeah,
You know what
yeah,
I
yeah,
mean?
yeah,
And it would just be left on red forever. So
yeah.
I mean that's some solid advice, man.
I'll have to write that down
Don't just jump
and
into the
remember
first
that in
thing.
about 10 years' time.
Put a note in your phone when you turn 40. Remind
Yeah,
your
yeah.
daughter.
An alarm for when I'm 40 for that to go off. Because that's the thing. See, without my phone,
I'd love to
honestly,
see that.
see anything that I've got, it's all on my calendar. I've got all these different the alarms and the notifications to come up just to tell you about things. I would be lost without my phone. It's insane.
That's what I'm saying, man. We're so like dependent on this fucking thing. So
Mhm.
speaking about lockdown, did you ever do any like Zoom weddings? Like where they just ask you to play the piano over Zoom?
There was one case that we did do, not the actual wedding, but we did kind of like a promo of ourselves. So like this girl wanted to see us and wanted to hear the band and see the band. So we did go on Zoom and we did a wee performance for her just to let her see the band and hear the band. But see doing things with the internet and so on, we're so not there. Like and I don't know what it's like with you, but certainly in this country, like you would go 10 minutes down the road and someone would have like an amazing internet connection, and you go like another 10 minutes and you've got nothing. So like, I think in this day and age, like we're still not ready. Like we're still not ready for that kind of thing. But it'd be one of the things like it would be such a thing to do. Go on and perform because I think when you are like playing instruments with each other and they're not in sync, it's oh my god, it was just one of the biggest tasks ever. Like it was just so insane.
Yeah, because if like somebody's got like a lag or something like that, so
Yeah,
you're hearing their shit like just like a beat too late.
yeah,
And so then you're like, oh fuck, let's catch up with them. But they're seeing you in real time, so they're like,
yeah.
oh man, I gotta slow down. You know what I mean? Like that's gotta be fucking annoying, man.
Like I don't know how that can be a
Well, hey
thing.
man, this has been a. Oh no, go ahead. Sorry.
No, this is exactly what I mean. That was the lag that I'm talking about. This is exactly what I mean. Like I don't know how this can be a
That
thing.
that's
Like
the
in
lag right there.
2023, like how internet can be so shit. Like all this Elon Musk shit. Just get the internet sorted out. Never worry about fucking Twitter or anything else. Just sort out good internet.
That's why I can't wait for the Neuralink. You're gonna see me with a robotic eye, Peter. Like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna blink and I'm gonna see you right here in my cornea.
Yeah.
There you go. Hopefully, it's not based on brain speed though, because I'll probably still have some lag.
Yeah. Me too.
Oh, Peter, man, this has been a great episode, dude. Thank you so much for coming on, man. Let people know where they can find you. Let them know your podcast. Let them know your band name. Fuck it, man. That way, if they want to go ahead and hire you over Zoom, you go ahead and lay down some ill beats.
Yeah, the band is called. We always get this every time we say it. It's the Manouche Boys. So I think it means like gypsy jazz because they started off like playing gypsy jazz music, and then they just ended up being a wedding band who just plays everything. So yeah, the Manouche Boys, Manouche. Or the podcast then is the Stumble Across podcast. So we're just the Stumble Across podcast on Instagram as well. So yeah, I mean, I think I'll be getting into it when this is going out, but we've been to 11 episodes now. So yeah, it's fun.
There we go, man. Make sure that you guys check out the Stumble Across podcast. Make sure you check out Peter at what's the Instagram? Stumble Across podcast.
Yeah,
also, right?
The Stumble Across podcast. Yeah.
Yeah. Make sure to check out the Stumble Across podcast. Instagram. I'm gonna make sure to tag all of the stuff inside of my Instagram and stuff like that if you want to find him. And thank you guys so much for coming back to Block Talk. Y'all want to check me out, CementBlock_Productions. And actually, with season 2, Peter, you don't know this, but when you listen or actually technically when you watch this episode, you're gonna see we got a new intro video, man, with some new music. Shout out to Splash World Radio for helping me out with that. And welcome to season 2, guys. Many more great guests like Peter. And don't go be an asshole in Ireland. Stop giving all your money away to tourist spots.
I see you, Block.